The advice I would give to others coming from a community-based academic teaching unit is several. First of all, meet with your professional development person at your site on an annual basis, if not more often. They can give you advice along the way on the things you should be accumulating towards this application. Secondly, I would say book some CME time on an annual basis to keep your CV up to date and to start keeping a log of these items. The other item I would say too is, as a busy mom, I found it very hard. You often put yourself last, and between your busy clinical responsibilities, academic administrative responsibilities, this is a thing that often falls off the plate. Make it a priority. And the final thing I think would be helpful is, now that I've gone through this process, I'd be able to mentor and help somebody at my site to both look at a teaching dossier and look through my binder of materials, which I found hard to understand, and to coach them on what was helpful. And now that I've learned in hindsight, some of the things I threw out a few years before I applied, I should have held on to. So it's just being aware and doing it as a gradual process. And maybe the goal for everyone should be to even aim to try to do it by the third to fifth year, to try to do the next promotion so that it doesn't lag for so long.
So as I'm thinking about what kind of advice I would give to junior faculty going for promotion, there are a few things that come to mind, and the first and most important is really go for it. But along that process, I think being able to keep track of what you're doing is really important, and maybe starting that right from day one, where you collect all the information that you can so you can reference it at a later date. Along those lines is making the time to actually update your CV, updating your dossiers, whether it be on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, but whatever would work. It's really important to revisit that process periodically. The other thing is linkages, and so what I mean by that is linkages with faculty members who've done this process before, so they may serve as mentors if you have questions or just help along that process. One of the things that I had to do when I was applying for my promotion is to get both internal and external references, and for external references, I think it's really important to keep track of potentially your residents who you've preceptored at one point or another, and they really can attest to your abilities as a teacher. And for my external reference, I actually used one of our residents who had graduated and actually went on to be faculty at Queen.
To really keep track of all your activities and keep track early, and start doing that by keeping things like emails that have information around academic activity. Also keeping track of things like schedules for lectures and teaching, keeping track of the number of hours that you do in teaching. Those things are really important as part of explaining the quantity and breadth of the teaching that you've done. So what I've found very useful is to in this age of digital, I've scanned a lot of things and kept a paperless record of my academic activities, and I find that really useful and easy to organize in that way. So I didn't start off doing that, but I would say for those that are considering the process, to start early, and that will really, really help.
I think being in the community, we look at keeping track of things a little differently, and one of the things I would highly recommend those that are looking to go forward with their promotion is to keep track of stuff early. By that I mean, you know, your evaluations that you've received or your workshops that you've done, even if you just sort of keep them in piles and put them all together, because I learned that a little bit later you had to collect all that and assemble it, so that would be helpful. The other thing, again, to emphasize that professional development rep or someone who can come alongside you to help you assemble that information and figure out what it should look like would be really beneficial, especially if you're new faculty. That's very helpful.